We roll?
Yep.
Okay, a great team effort tonight from start to finish. Hard to find negatives in that game. It was offense, defense, special teams, all hitting on all cylinders. Very few negative things at all, obviously. Jumped on them early. The first half was about as good as football as we've played here. Very proud of Bird Ficklin. Came in, true freshman, seemed very poised. He wasn't perfect, but he was very good. Ran the offense very well. Defenders played well. I mean, just our players played so efficiently and so dominantly tonight. It was great response to our disappointment last week, and that's twice this year now. They've responded very well, and couldn't be more proud of them. The assistant coaches did a great job with their game plans, and everything tonight was just one of those nights where everything went our way, and had a ton of production from all three phases. And like I said, couldn't be more pleased with how our guys reacted, how our coaches reacted after what we went through last week. So, questions?
Kyle, did you subscribe to a new analytics site this week?
No, I did not. I never have. And people, I guess some people were saying, that I'm tied to analytics. I do exactly what it says. That's not a fact. I mean, but they're a great reference. And anyone here that thinks they know more than the analytics, you don't. I promise you, I don't. And so, but still, sometimes the ebb and flow of the game. For example, that long field goal, wasn't probably a great decision, but we want to give Dylan as many opportunities as we can and try to build his confidence. So, even though that's not really a confidence builder, a 59-yarder, but no, same analytics. There we go.
Kyle, when did you know you were going to go to Bird, and can you just evaluate his performance on the ground and throwing the ball?
Yeah, it was really a game time decision. I mean, Devin hadn't had much practice all week, but he's a guy that knows this offense inside and out. And had he felt up to the task in pregame, then that would have been a tough decision to make. But he was not feeling it, and so and Bird fortunately had taken the vast majority of the reps all week long, and that was the way it was trending. Is Bird was going to be the guy, but it wasn't for certain until after pregame warm-ups.
Kyle?
And what was the second part of your question? I'm sorry.
Just evaluate his game tonight.
I thought he did really well. He didn't throw as accurately as he will in the future. I can promise you that. He's a very accurate thrower in practice and has a good strong arm. But he ran the ball efficiently and made enough good throws. He saw him put some right on the money and really move the offense.
Kyle, Scally dialed up a ton of blitzes in that first half.
Mm-hmm.
Was there something on tape that you guys saw, or what was kind of the game plan for that defensive effort?
Just to load the box, fill all the gaps, make him beat us throwing the ball. And it was a great game plan, and that was Coach Scally that concocted that punt block. It was out of our safe look. Typically when you're in a safe look, you're just guarding against the fake and you're not giving much pressure on the punter, and we kind of lulled him asleep and came out with a safe look, and he had a blitz or a block designed off of that, and it worked exactly like it did in practice.
At what point do you feel like Bird really settled in there, especially in the passing?
Yeah, probably after the first quarter. A little jittery, not jittery, but not quite in sync during the first quarter, but obviously that second run was huge. It was the second play of the game. I think it was the second play of the game. Daniel Bray had a run, and then Bird went 60, 70 yards, and so. But it seemed like he started to settle in and get into a rhythm second quarter.
Kyle, this is a two-part question for you.
Okay.
First part, just what level of confidence did you have to have in Bird? What did you see through him, I guess, just in the past few weeks for you to give him this opportunity and have confidence in him to come out and play efficiently?
Well, I started seeing it in spring ball. He was a mid-year guy, and so he was with us in spring, and you could tell from day one that his demeanor was different than a typical freshman. The way he carried himself, the way he handled his business. And so it was very evident back in spring ball that, hey, we may have something special here. And just continue through fall camp, although a few times, there's a period of time when in fall camp he didn't really make a lot of progress, but then he, started trending upward again, and he's been really good in the limited reps that he has had in game up to today. And in fact, he was 9 out of 9 throwing the ball and had done a nice job in mostly mop-up duty. But you can tell a lot about a quarterback just the way he carries himself and his demeanor. You know how he's going to react, and he reacted just right.
Kyle, you've talked about in the past how long sustained drives can be kind of a backbreaker for a defense.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were kind of on the opposite end tonight in terms of scoring drives. You had like 5 different drives that were under a minute. If the long drives can be kind of that backbreaker, what does it do to have so many quick strike drives?
Yeah, well, it just makes it easier for the fact that you don't have to be, really good on 18 plays. If you get some big chunk yardage, then that makes that drive so much easier to get in the end zone. It's really hard to do it 5 yards at a time. And if you can get a 20, 30 yarder or a couple of them in a drive, then that really makes the path to the end zone that much. There's less to go wrong if you can get those big plays. Ideal is 1 play 70-yard drive for a touchdown. That's ideal, but that's not going to happen very often.
38 yards on 38 carries for Colorado. It's obviously the best performance from the defensive line in that regard so far this season. I would say a little uncharacteristic so far this year how middle of the pack as far as college football goes defending the run.
Mm-hmm.
What was different today, and how did Utah allow that?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we were more high pressure today and a lot of run blitzes. There's 2 different types of blitzes. There's run blitzes and pass blitzes, and we had a lot of run blitzes dialed up and run fronts that were heavy box fronts, and which puts a lot of stress on the DBs. But they held up all night long, and that was the plan going in. Though, is if we're going to get beat, we're going to get beat with a throw game, and they weren't going to rush the ball.
Kyle, speaking of punting, you had Orion went for the fake punt. Was that a designed call, or was it just he saw something and he just went for it?
No, that was designed. Yeah, he would. Yeah, we would skin him alive if he did that on his own. So it was definitely choreographed, rehearsed, worked on in practice. We actually had it for the last few weeks now. We added it, and tonight was the night that we saw the opening to utilize it.
Kyle, 8 yards a carry and over 400 yards rushing.
Yeah.
How much of that was ball carriers? How much of that was line, and how much of that can be replicated in the final month? Well,
it goes hand in hand. It starts up front. It definitely starts up front. We've been singing the praises of our offensive line all year long, and that might be a school record. I don't know what the school record is, but it's got to be close. That rushing total, second best. And I think we were 6th in the nation rushing the football this past week, and I think 3 of those top 6 were option teams. Air Force, Army, and somebody else. So the teams that just run the ball, we're in the top 3 and maybe move up to number 1 this weekend. And that's a product of number 1, physicality up front, and excellent schemes by our offensive coaches. And running backs are doing their part. Daniel Bray has been a big factor for us now, going on 3 weeks or so. And so a lot of things go into that. But if you want the starting point, the origin is the offensive line.
Kyle, what was the message, the mindset, the attitude that you helped this team approach this week to lead to the result we saw tonight? Yeah,
we talk every Monday about moving on, win or lose, and flushing the last game and not letting it be a hindrance. And you can't pat yourself on the back for too long, and you can't hang your head for too long. And so you just got to come back on Monday and start preparing, start over, if you will, and get ready for the next guys. And that's how football is. I mean, I don't care what level you're at, high school, college, NFL. That's the MO that you got to have. You got to be able to put the other game, the most recent game, in the rearview mirror on Monday and move on and set your sights on the next one.
This will be the last one.
The big guys said they were so happy for Nate Johnson to bust off that run with all he's been through, in his collegiate career, to score a touchdown like that. What did that mean to you?
It was great to see Nate do that, and that's I've known that he's had that in him, and it was good to see it come out, finally, and he really hit the accelerator, and you saw that. I think it was a 10.2 is what he ran in high school. He's incredible, as far as that goes, and as far as his speed. And so that was great to see Nate make that play. No one was more excited than Nate. He was grinning from ear to ear. So, and that was the last one. Okay, I want shout out to the Mammoth, huge Mammoth fans, 6 in a row today. Love their head coach. Love their their general manager, love the organization, and I'm 100% behind them. So go Mammoth, love those guys.
That's,
All right, thank you. Test it up. There you go. Okay.
Thanks, Coach.